All right, good morning. I think
I
this
have a client meeting at 10, so I may have to dip out early.
is. Okay, yep, everybody do what you got to do. Okay, I'm gonna share my screen, which is always
Before it.
more difficult than it needs to be. Okay, are you seeing a PowerPoint display?
Yes.
So we are gonna have Mike Ross is gonna join us from Northwest Creative Financial, but in a few minutes. So I skipped that slide. So does everybody see the RMLS slide?
Yes.
Okay, so quick review on, just gonna kind of follow the agenda all the way down, and we're gonna shoehorn Mike in when he hops on in 15 minutes. Let me open up my agenda really quick. Oh my gosh, and I don't know how to make this thing not be obnoxious. Hang on. Yeah, it has a mind of its own. All right, so market update. I pulled these right off of the homepage of the RMLS. Everybody has access to this as something that you can post and share on social media. And I just highly recommend that this is something you always refer back to when you need those quick talking points. You should always have an answer for when somebody inevitably says to you, how's the market? Because you hear it every day. How's the market? So have a quick answer. So this is the Southwest Washington. This is very broad because Southwest Washington in the RMLS includes everything that anybody basically in the state of Washington puts in. But you can hone this down more precisely by neighborhood, by zip code, by using the action report. But in broad strokes for March 2022, I have to minimize this little sidebar so I can see the whole thing. Residential only listings in the RMLS. Here is where we are. Median price 525 in Washington, which is high from the time that, I mean, as long as I've lived here, which is pushing 25 years, that is high. Total market time 16 days. That's from listing to close. So we're seeing a lot of people doing faster closes than the traditional 30 days. Inventory still at 2 weeks as opposed to an even 6 months. So I'm not going to hammer this in because we do it every month, but I wanted you to always have the resource to know where to go and pull this from if you want it. Same stats for Portland, and this is for the Portland metro area. Median sale price $550. Portland and Vancouver are just neck and neck on sale price right now. Total market time 25 days. Inventory more like 3 weeks than 2 weeks. So again, not anywhere near a balanced 6-month inventory. I keep getting the question, what do you think is going to happen? What's going to happen with the market? And I know we have a lot of varying opinions, and it depends on what you read and which podcast you listen to, and whether you are a glass half full or a glass half empty kind of soul. But I think the market's going to do what the market always does. It's going to correct itself. This is not sustainable. For the first time in history, Oregon and Washington have more people moving out than moving in. That's going to help balance things out, I think, a little bit. That's inventory. As people flee, we have more inventory. Not what we need, but it's getting there. Does anybody have an opinion to share about where you think the market's going? I don't think it's a bubble, and I don't think we're in for a crash, but I do think things have to level off a little bit. And Angela's going to talk a little bit about how interest rates are going to impact that. And yeah, it's weird and unprecedented times, and people are looking to us for the answers. And as we have always said in real estate, there is no crystal ball. Like, I can't promise you, but I know 20% growth year over year. I know you can't get that anywhere else with your investment. So
Shanna, I've heard where they're estimating it's going to be at least 10 years before the balancing of what they can build versus what we have.
wow. All right, so buckle up, people. We got 10 more years. And Angela's going to talk a little bit more in a minute, but we went to a great meeting with a representative from Freddie Mac from Washington, D.C., was here in Vancouver and did a presentation and had some great slides and some great arguments or things that you
Commentary.
Answers. Yeah. Some great answers for how you handle objections from your clients when it comes to rising interest rates. But I'm going to let Angela talk about that in a minute. So, okay, this is a screenshot of my total brokerage dashboard. We're all going to have a total brokerage dashboard, and I'm super excited about it. So total brokerage is where we're going to be able to fill out our forms, get them signed, and put them in a checklist all in one place. That's all we're giving it to you for. It does 100 million other things as well, but we are hoping that eventually we'll have everybody using it for forms. We're not going to take away SkySlope. If you like to fill out your forms on Transaction Desk, then load them in SkySlope and get them signed, or if you use Zip Forms, you can keep doing that. But this is going to be an all-in-one place tool. And the beauty of this tool is that if you fill out your forms and get them signed in total brokerage, then we never have the audit problem of somebody not submitting their forms to the brokerage within the 2 days that they're required to be submitted, because they're already there. This is the brokerage file cabinet. This is where all the papers have to end up. So if you start the transaction there, you're never going to be late with uploading the transaction. Does that make sense? Like, we'll have it from day one. And this is just a screenshot. And I was super excited to see they have webinars that you can, are these live, Betsy, or are they recorded?
It's a mix. Some of them have been live and some have been ones that they recorded like the night before and then just shared with everybody.
So I mean, Marketing Monday, Transaction Tuesday, e-signature Wednesday, Contact Thursday. You can just hop in for a 30-minute class on each of those different topics. Plus, they've got other classes. And Betsy's going to do our training in-house, Betsy and Melinda, on us learning how to do our forms and our signature and our checklist. So Betsy, give us a little update.
Okay, so fast update is I have been following all of their steps, and the problem that's been taking so long is that their steps, total brokerage's steps, are a little bit out of order with the steps that we want. But I've just done a mix of what they've asked me to do, program everything, then test each program, because I know how our group, for the most part, likes to do things. So I'm going to be setting up a train. In fact, they just emailed me their calendar. Melinda can't do the training tomorrow, but I'm going to see if Carly will do one with me. So we just have a third person. And then they've opened up a calendar set of trainings for us next week for a group training. So what I would like, if everybody could just think about between now and the end of maybe the day, or actually, no, let me say lunchtime. If everybody would just give me a heads up of what date and time might work for you next week, I will pick the one that gets the most, like it's basically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are what they have open, and they have a variety of times open. So if you guys tell me date and a window of time that works best, I'm going to pick something that hopefully works for as many people as possible. And they will start our training, and then we're going to have one a week after that. So starting next week will be the first one. It'll be fairly generic. It will be walking through a lot of the outside pieces of it. And then on the second week, they'll jump into transactions. I believe I have everything possibly programmed the way they want it. It's really cool. It just takes a little bit of looking in different places. It's taken me a little bit of practice to automatically know where to go to find stuff. The nice thing is much like SkySlope, they have pretty much instant reaction time. When we submit a trouble ticket or have a question, sometimes I've had the question in my inbox. Like by the time I'm done typing the support question and hit send, I go back to my dashboard and then I check my email and the answer's there. So they're very good about helping us understand where to find things, how to do it. And when I've asked them to reprogram stuff from behind the scenes, they react quickly. So super, super robust, can do lots of things for us. And I think I've got everything done correctly. We will
Awesome.
see.
And this will be our Oregon and Washington forms in one place, which
Mhm.
was the goal, was to get everything into one place. We have some people who came from agencies that use Dotloop. I've never used Dotloop, but,
I hate Dotloop.
and some people love Dotloop and like the fact that it's all in one place. Start your transaction, sign your transaction, close your transaction, compliance, all in one place. And so that's what we're going for here. And this is the back end software that Ryan Serhant uses at his brokerage, and he's super famously popular. So I thought, okay, maybe it's a workaround for our dual states, because that's been our biggest hangup, is trying to find something that works for Oregon and Washington together all in one place. So that's our goal, is a seamless transaction management system, paperless. And again, nobody needs to freak out and say, I've got a great system, I like the way I do it. Then you keep on keeping on, do it that way, it's fine. I am the queen of old dogs who don't like to learn new tricks. So it'll be hard for me to move off of SkySlope, to be honest. So we're going to be a slow transition and nobody will be pushed out of their comfort zone. So that is our total brokerage update. And next week we get to jump in and start getting busy with it.
Can I ask Betsy a quick question?
Yes.
Hey, when will we have the ability to log in and start kind of playing around in it and getting to learn it?
So I would say if you could wait till next week till you have, I'll send you guys all, everybody has, it's an email and a password that I have to set for you. And then you can change it after that. Everybody has that ability now, but I feel like it would be counterproductive to start playing yet until I at least go through my training with them tomorrow. I mean, things are a little bit confusing. And if I have something programmed incorrectly, it will mess you up. And I would just prefer to not have everybody jumping in while I'm still fixing the back end of things.
Oh, so tomorrow they're kind of doing a final walkthrough with you.
Yes.
Okay.
Make sure that when I click this button and it brings up this form, it brings up exactly the right form, et cetera, et cetera. That's what it's just been a challenge because there's so many forms and they program them for every single individual to autofill all of your information. And it's been intensive.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could give everybody that option right now. I would really prefer not to, because if 20 of you come up with an issue and they're all different issues and I can't fix them in time before the training next week, it's going to make me pull my hair out. So
I just wanted to know in terms of if we would have login when the training starts, or if it's just
Oh,
going to be a visual training. Okay,
No,
that's all I
everybody
meant
have their
was,
own account by then. Yeah.
okay, perfect. I didn't know if it was just going to be a visual training until we got through that and then get logins.
So no, I will give everybody their logins by then. More than likely what she will do for the training, her name is Diane, she's wonderful, is she probably will show you a sample screen and a sample transaction, but everybody will have their logins by that point so that you can log in yourselves to your own screens and follow along and see what she's doing for sure.
Okay. Mike Ross, are you on the call?
I am, yes. In my car,
Okay.
yes.
Because I don't see you, but I see one unidentified person.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
I will be the identified person today.
All right, well, I'm gonna jump over to Mike before we go to Rhonda and Boomtown, because Mike's on a time crunch with other meetings. But if you haven't met Mike, Mike and Nathan are our financial gurus, and every month when schedules align, they will, one or the other or both, jump onto our meeting to answer any questions that we might have about business planning, tax strategies, and all of that, the money side of your business. Because you don't have a job, you have a business, and you need to treat it as such. So Mike is here, and I'll open it up just for a quick Q&A with him before he has to go, and then we'll go back into the agenda. But does anybody have a question for Mike before I jump in with mine? Okay, then I'm first.
I do.
Oh, okay, go.
Hello, everybody. Angela. It has come up. Betsy had a client. I've had a client. It's been coming up a lot, Mike, where with underwriting, the underwriters want a CPA to sign a letter stating that blah, 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 blah. Do you guys have contacts for CPAs that would be able to sign letters this time of year?
Yep. Yeah, I think last year in the summer, we saved 8 different houses for that exact reason. There's a lot of people who try and get self-employed or business owners homes, and their finances are a complete disaster. So if you guys need a rushed profit and loss statement, we can knock it out typically within 3 to 5 days if you give us everything we need, depending how fast things work. And then we have CPAs who sign off on it to the letters that you need. So we'll do all the work, send it to the CPA. They do the stamp approval. You guys close the home. They get in the house. Mortgage person wins. You win. They win. Everyone wins.
Okay. And a lot of times it's just a letter stating that they've been in business for so much time, and it has to come from a CPA or enrolled agent or something. So don't let that ruin the deal, guys. Ask if there's any questions on that, because you don't want that to kill the deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something, I mean, that Angela and I, when we were that training that we were in, just, you know, the difference now with this, so many people being part of the gig economy and not having traditional income, that shouldn't knock them out from being able to buy a house. We just have to get creative with how it's all laid out for lending.
And find the right lender. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's also, I know that there's a lot of the times too, what happens, entrepreneurs, and this will go good for you guys too, entrepreneurs and business owners, they don't want to pay taxes. They have this like really angry hate towards the IRS, which is understandable. But the problem is if you don't pay taxes or you don't show, don't owe any taxes, it means you made no money.
mhm.
So even though it's like you hate that bill that comes up once a year or spread out quarterlies, in the end, if you don't show any income, you don't pay taxes, but then you can't get lending and you can't get in a house. So if you were, what we've done before for people who need lending and need a profit and loss statement within the middle of the year, if the tax deadline hasn't hit yet, we can adjust the profit and loss statement to reflect the income that you guys wanted to show. And the way we do that is not in any way in the gray area. We just take out things that normal business owners or normal people would be using no matter what, but business owners get a luxury of deducting it. For an example, like your car insurance or your lease, if you're leasing a car, if you're a business owner or not, you would be driving a car. So those are the kind of things we can take out of the business expenses and deductions and move over to the personal. And that's what helps the income reflect a little higher if needed. But we wouldn't mess around with things like desk fees and stuff that you actually use for business. It's just the personal stuff that we could take out that you guys get a luxury in deducting.
Okay, here's my question, and praise the Lord, it does not apply to me personally this year. There have been many years where, okay, like I personally cannot believe we're at the end of April. We're almost to the middle of this year. I'm still getting used to writing 2022. I feel like it was just New Year's Eve. Like we just started this year and it's half over, almost half over. So the first quarter is over. And I think a lot of people come into the new year with this is the year I'm getting my shit together. I'm going to organize my paperwork. I'm going to organize my receipts. I'm going to have it all ready for taxes for next year since it's such a mess right now. And now that we're in the second quarter, I see a lot of people going, well, that ship has sailed. It's too late. So Is it too late to start preparing, even though we're almost halfway through the year?
Not at all. No. So the two biggest things I'd recommend doing for a lot of people that usually after the first quarter say they're going to do it and don't do it. Number one is don't commingle funds. So if you don't have your LLC and your business bank account open, let me know. I can send you the links to get that done. So that's the one thing people always say is that this year I'm not going to commingle my funds, and then they still commingle their funds. So if you, it's not too late to go back and unwind. It's easier to go back and unwind 3 to 4 months than it is to go back a whole year and a half. So if you don't have your LLC and your business bank account opened up, let me know. Shoot me an email, and I will send you the links directly on exactly how to do it and step-by-step instructions. It's free in the sense of me giving the information to you, so take advantage of it. The second thing that I see a lot of people screwing up, I myself included actually, and this is why I'll tell you a personal story. Every year I keep saying I'm going to track my miles better, and I am terrible at tracking my miles. So I have an app called Mile IQ. I highly recommend using that one if you want to track your miles and you're actually pretty good at it. I, for one, I have Mile IQ and I keep forgetting to do it every time, and then things get mixed up. So at the end of the year, when you go to file your taxes, you can choose either to write off your miles, which is like, I think it's like 52 cents a gallon right now, or a mile, or you can write off your expenses. And expenses mean you can write off your gas, oil changes, maintenance, new rims, car washes, whatever you guys use for your car, you can use to write off, but you can only choose miles or expenses. So because I'm terrible at tracking my miles, I always use expenses on my car. I drive a ton. The fuel is always a lot. Nathan and I, for our business, what we do is we don't even track miles, because if we get audited, we have no proof of it because we're not that good at tracking it. So if you have your car expenses coming up and you're using it for business, which means you're using that car 50% or more for business, right? Or use your business card for fuel, use your business card for car washes, use your business card for any maintenance being done, oil changes, etc. It's a lot easier to take things out of the business account and put them into the personal than it is to dig in the personal and put into the business account. So
Okay,
I think
that's
those
a
would be
good
my two
one.
tips is
Yeah, I'm horrible at
LLC.
miles too, and that's been a lifesaver for me. Is I would say it's been a lifesaver to not have to track my miles, but the reality was when I was tracking my miles, I wasn't tracking my miles.
Yeah. And that won't hold up in the court. If you ever get audited, they'll say, okay, let me see exactly how you track your miles, and you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
So unless you're really good at it, I would do miles all day long, but I am terrible at it. And I just figured expenses are good. And a lot of people who have, the cars where you have like a $2,000 maintenance job, or your oil changes cost, $500. Those things make a lot of sense just to get those deducted anyway. And you can take depreciation at the end of the year on your vehicle, which you can actually depreciate up to $18,000 per vehicle each year. So it makes up.
Fantastic. Does anybody else have anything from Mike before we have to let him go to his next meeting?
Yeah, Mike, in terms of, I don't lease a car anymore. I just purchased, and I purchased one this year, or excuse me, last year. So in terms of getting maintenance done, what do I look at when I purchase something and the fees involved?
Can you elaborate a little more? You mean like what
would be the types of write-ups, in a nutshell, or maybe you and I actually should probably talk outside of here because I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, we can absolutely sit down for like half an hour. We can go over that. But yeah, so for your car, if you lease a car, you can deduct the payment.
Yeah.
But if you bought the car, you cannot deduct the payment you have every month, but you can deduct the interest. You can also deduct, like I said, the fuel costs, the car washes, the oil changes, the maintenance on the car, anything car related expenses you can deduct if you own the car. And then each year you talk to your CPA and you can do what's called accelerated depreciation and get up to $18,000 depreciated off your car if needed.
Okay, you and I'll talk.
Yeah,
For sure. And then the only other thing
year.
is if you get a G-Wagon, those things weigh over 6,000 pounds. You can actually deduct the entire thing off that first year.
Hashtag goals.
Yeah.
Okay.
G-Wagon is on my vision board.
Yes.
Is that the $90,000 Wagoneer from years gone past?
No, it's the Mercedes Jeep-ish vehicle. And I looked at a used one in California when I was at Balboa Bay in Newport, and the used one that was about 6 years old was still $190,000.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the trick there is the the kind of joke about there is the car has to be, or the vehicle has to be over 6,000 pounds in order to be able to deduct the whole thing. And there's not very many trucks or cars out there that can do that. So, but if you really need it, a car, and you find a way to do it, then you can deduct the whole thing. But that's just more of a,
It's like a work truck.
yeah.
Awesome. All right. And if anybody is newer and doesn't know this, I have a business relationship with Mike and Nathan. And as a courtesy to our brokerage, they will talk to any of you guys for free. You can sit down and have a planning session with them, and find out, they may be somebody that you want to work with too, but they are here for us and our questions. And we appreciate that very much, Mike. So
Yeah.
thank you for hopping on with us.
Absolutely. Yeah. Reach out to me if you need help getting the LLC. That's a pretty easy email I can just send out. And then, yeah, if you have any other questions, just reach out to us and we'll sit down for 30 minutes and go over whatever you want.
Yeah, and Mike is in our private Facebook group. So if you ever post tax or LLC type questions in there, I'll usually try to tag him so that he can get back to us. So, all right, thanks. Have a good meeting.
All right. Thank you. See you guys.
Bye. So that always opens up more questions than it answers for me, because I'm always like, how am I just got my tax bill and I thought I was dialed in this year. I mean, dialed in, and we still owe $22,000. So I know. Part of it's not my fault. My husband contributed to that with some stock cash outs, but it's still a sucky bill to get when you weren't expecting it. Okay, this screenshot now is of our brokerage website. This is our new Boomtown website, and not many people have onboarded to it yet, and we're not asking you to have to do much. But if you want to use the Boomtown CRM, it is available to everybody. So you just need to let me know that you want it, and we'll get you set up with a login. In addition to that, Rhonda is going to be reaching out to everybody, and she's going to talk in a minute to make sure you can get an agent page set up. So this is my Boomtown page for me as an agent, and that's my cell phone number up at the top for contact me. So that would be your cell phone number. As you scroll down the page, it's got, my picture, my contact, my about me that I wrote. So we're going to ask everybody to write one of those. And if you're not good at that, me and Rhonda and Carly can help write that for you. You tell us 3 interesting things about you and we'll slap it out. And then as you scroll down, it then has some information about the brokerage. And so this is what we were setting up with Playster, and Playster, a lot of people have said Playster turned out to be not as user-friendly as they wanted to be for the agent part. But if you're setting up your own website for your business, Playster seems to be a really good option for that, because it's affordable and a little easier to use when you're owning your domain, but less friendly when you're doing a sub page on the brokerage page. So we're going to have everybody have a page here. And if you decide that you're doing your own separate Playster website, that can link out here, like where it's got my phone numbers, you would have a link out to your website. If you use Real Scout and you wanted to link it out to your Real Scout website, I don't want people to feel overwhelmed with too many tools. I want you to pick and choose the tools you want to use. So if you are already happy with Real Scout if you use it as a CRM, don't feel compelled to make a change. But we are going to get everybody set up with an agent page so that when somebody comes to the brokerage homepage and clicks on agents, everybody in the brokerage pops up. Rhonda, we're going to give us a little info on Boomtown. She's our Boomtown creator.
Okay, so as far as having everybody on the website, the main website for the office, what I'll end up doing is sending everybody an email, which will actually come from Boomtown, giving you login. And you will always just have one login, whether you are dealing with your page or whether you're dealing with using the CRM, you'll always just have one login. When you receive that login, you will literally open up into a CRM page. Don't worry about that. You'll have the opportunity if you want to use the CRM, but up in the upper right-hand corner is where you'll find where you do your profile. So very simple, go in, click the link. It's a little circle. It should have your picture on it. So we're all used to seeing that on websites. Set up your profile. If you can please do me a favor, because there's so many of you, just send me a quick text or an email and let me know that you completed your profile and I will turn you on and you'll show up on the website. Otherwise, I have to continually go back through and see who's completed their profile. And as everybody gets them on, that's just a lot of time to go through and keep checking every day. So with that,
Can I
as
hop
far
in for a
as,
second?
go ahead.
So the process is receive the link, create
Yep.
your profile,
Yep.
tell Rhonda your profile is done. Okay.
Okay. And so with that said, looking at Shanna's site here, you can use your vanity URL, as I call it, whatever URL you use currently for a website. If you want to make this the website that you direct people to, you can do that. And if you need help with that, let me know and I can tell you how to do that. So for me, mine's livinginclarkcounty.com. So I have it directed to this. What happens if you have people directed to this and they do search homes and they do want information, they do log in, it will drop into your leads in your CRM. So it's kind of a nice thing to know. You'll get contacted if somebody goes onto your site, decides they're going to log in and look for things, you will actually pick them up as a lead. Just, you know, something out there to think about. So just get that profile set up as much as you can, complete as you want it to be, because when they look at agents, obviously that's what they're going to see on the site. If you want to take it any further, please feel free to reach out to me and I can guide you on the right path on some courses to take online. It also has a lot of courses that you can take on the back end, which I can go into a little bit more with each of you individually if you're interested in that. But very awesome system, very robust if you decide to take the CRM turn, but I'm here to help.
So I did point my vanity URL to it. So I have my name. So ShannaO'Brien.com will now just go to my Boomtown page.
And if I can oh, go ahead.
And then if you don't have that, your address here is going to be your name dot Washington and Oregon homes.com.
Yes.
So that's going to be your URL for your brokerage page. And then if you want to do a separate, like I said, you know, some people do a full-blown website for their team or for themselves as an independent agent. We're not discouraging that at all. I always had that myself when I was an agent at different brokerages, so that I knew when I left, I just had to rebrand it and I still had my same website. So like, that's why I have my name, ShannaO'Brien.com. And it goes where I go and points to what I want it to point to. So if you're setting up your own website, we're not trying to talk you out of that, but we do want to give you an agent page so that if somebody scrolls through the brokerage roster, you're on it. And it can be as simple as your picture, your about me, and a link to your website if you decide that Boomtown's not for you and you don't want to use the CRM.
And one last added thing is you can do some customization on this. So just keep that in mind. If you want to change a few things to it, you do have the ability to do that also.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions about websites?
Okay.
Okay, this is a screenshot of an email that I got from Angela. I just needed something with Angela's name on it while she talks. But if you're not receiving her very informative updates, you might want to send her an email and say, put me on that list, because I always find something to pull out of those emails. They're just, I mean, everybody at Evergreen kind of uses the same template. I'm assuming it's like your business.
It's
newsletter.
a CRM drip, sort of just really quick snapshot
Yeah,
talking points. And so it's not me shoving lending down your throat. It's like Shanna said, it's something that literally you can refer to people on the fly. It's like, hey, look at what I just got. And
right.
so it's a cited source that's not just you as the realtor stating something. It's like, here, I have it in writing, because if it's in writing, it must be true, right?
I mean, and it's really easy to read. It's just like bullet points, really little paragraphs of talking points. So if you don't get that and you want it, get on Angela's list. And Angela is going to tell us about the big, bad, scary hike in interest rates.
Well, so I guess I can't really see every, let me see if I can point out everybody. I'm going to put you guys so I can see everybody. Not everybody's face is available, but
But you know what? Hold on. I can.
hey, Maggie.
I can stop my screen share and then we get everybody back on the big grid. How's that?
There you go. So, and everybody's in mute, and it's okay if you guys want
I
to
should
take
have done
yourself,
this for Mike. Oops. Okay.
take it off. But so, and I've got this right in front of your face, Shanna. This is fun. So I've been talking with a lot of people because everybody's like, oh my gosh, interest rates aren't at 2% anymore. And they're all freaking out. And then I keep reminding people, my first interest rate when I bought my first condo was at 8%. And for those of you, did anybody purchase a home for cheaper than 6% their first home?
Nope.
I mean, I think all of us, because the average median age, they say, of a realtor is 50 something. All of us had our first mortgage above 6, 7, 8%, and we didn't think anything of it. So it's a little unfortunate these poor millennials are coming in. And what we're really having to remind them, a lot of these young first-time home buyers are coming into the market and they're seeing the effects of what their parents went through. So a lot of people saw their parents lose their home or foreclosure or whatever during 2008, 2009, 2010. So we have to be mindful that that is not the same thing that's happening now, and try and take a little bit of that fear away from them. So the presentation that we saw from Freddie Mac, I'd be happy to share with anybody who'd be interested. I could sit down with you and kind of go through it. She spoke for over an hour on her slides, so it's not really something I can really quickly share with you. But anybody who just wants to take a half an hour, and I'd be happy to sit down with you guys and
Do we
just kind
want
of
to do
talk
it
about,
as a Zoom? Like, do we want to just do a group Zoom and you can go through her slides?
or if you guys want to do, I'd be happy to do a Taco Tuesday and bring in lunch and do a presentation, because I think it's really important that you guys really understand what's in the mindset of these millennial, people that are purchasing homes.
I mean, it was super informative, the presentation. I got a lot out of it. And some of her graphs, I mean, just that interest rate graph has stuck with me, where everybody's talking about interest rates are so high. And then you take the line of interest rates, and here we are. They've looked like this. And we're still down here.
We're still down here.
We're not up here. We're down here and people are crying. So.
And the other thing I want you guys to understand is there's still a lot of clickbait on the websites where get your mortgage for 3% and it's fake news. It's not real. So they'll bait and switch them. A lot of these online lenders, the CFPB, the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, who is in charge of getting people in trouble for false advertising, they're not robust and they're not really prosecuting people right now. So people are getting away with all sorts of stuff. So I don't know if anybody has had a client where they're bait and switch with their interest rate, but there's really not a lot they can do because these online lenders just all of a sudden at the end switch the rate, and the borrowers are already vested. They don't want to lose the house, and so they just go through with it. But
yeah.
The interest rates are in the 5s, and some of them are actually in the 6s now. The Washington State bond is having their lowest interest rate right now on traditional home advantage program is 6 1/8, 6 1/4, and that's buying a point. You can't even get it at par pricing right now, and you have to be under the AMI, the $70,000 to $660,000 family income a year to be able to qualify for even that. So things really have changed and they're tightening up. If you guys are accepting offers and somebody's been pre-approved, I really would be talking to the lender. How recent is this pre-approval? Is this using current interest rates? Because as we know, if there's only 2 weeks of inventory, these buyers maybe have been looking for 6 months. And if their pre-approval is based off of 6 months ago, they maybe were being qualified in the high 3s, 4s, and it really has rapidly changed. So I don't want anybody to be putting in offers on homes and getting them accepted, especially if it's your listing, with having out of date pre-approval letters. So when I'm in the office, sometimes I catch things and Betsy can attest to this, and Shanna, that doesn't sound quite right. And so anytime you guys are getting a feeling as the listing agent or even the buyer's agent, even if I'm not the loan officer, just run it by me. You know, does this sound right, Angela? Is this how this works? Because I hear things and I'm like, that's not right, that's not right, that's not right. Especially when it comes to self-employed people. There's a lot of loan officers out there who don't have a lot of experience with self-employed borrowers and will qualify them incorrectly. And then when they try and salvage the deal, they're doing it wrong. So let me help you help your clients. So
Okay, I vote for a Taco Tuesday lunch and learn.
okay,
So let's just get that on the calendar for May.
okay, that seems appropriate. May 5th is not Tuesday, is it?
Oh, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna go back to my screen share. Does anybody have any questions for Angela?
I don't have a question for Angela, but when there's a spot, Tabitha left me with a couple reminders to remind people.
Okay, I'll let you know. Got
Okay.
2 more slides and then we're done. Okay, are we looking at a before and after staged home? Okay, Leslie was going to be on the call, but they're out, they have no power in the sticks today. That's a thing that happens when you live in the boonies, I guess, I don't know. So this is one of our stages from the past, and you can see it was a vacant house with a weird poster tacked to the wall, we don't know why. And made a nice difference for showing and photographing. We have downsized our staging inventory, and Leslie is the person to talk to about staging. She's running all of that. But we needed the downstairs space. So downstairs now at the office, there's a second conference room, and then there's 2 work tables and another little seating area and a very comfortable napping couch. So we've gotten rid of our big furniture. So if you need staging help, this stage that you're looking at, the agent rented the couches and the coffee table and this little, the end table that's kind of right in the front and center. Those came from Rent-A-Center. And Rent-A-Center will do, they do short-term for us. They give you a better price if you have me or Leslie call, because they know it's just for staging and we're not, you know, keeping the furniture to buy. So we've revamped how we're doing staging. Basically, it's on you, the listing agent, to rent the furniture. We'll call Rent-A-Center, pick it all out, get a contract going, get you a good rate. And then they, you know, her name is Michelle. Michelle will call you and say, okay, it's, you know, $500 for living room, dining room, 2 bedrooms for 30 days. And you pay for it to Rent-A-Center. There's not a markup. There's not anything coming to us for it. It's just a service that Leslie's providing to get it set up for you. Then when you've got the furniture, you've got 2 options. You can stage it yourself, bring accessories and decor. You can borrow some of that from downstairs of what we have, or you can pay Leslie her hourly rate to come in and take care of that. So it's still significantly, I mean, by 4 times cheaper than calling a full-on staging company. But yeah, we're not doing furniture anymore. So if you need staging help, that's what we've got. And also Leslie does occupied stages, very similar to what some other companies are doing, where she will come through your client's house and give a report, a recommendation list basically of, okay, we know you're not we're not staging your house, but here's what you could do to make it look a little better. And sometimes it is very helpful as a listing agent to have that come from an official third party. Because you can tell your client, oh my gosh, well, I think that your brass elephant 400-piece collection is magnificent. I would never want to see that go, but she's right. Maybe we should pack it up because it's so valuable and precious. So sometimes it does help to have a third party come in and help with that. So if that's something you want to do, you can always reach out to Leslie in the Facebook group, or call me for her number, or she's also on our on the roster if you have the contact roster. Okay, I just noticed there's like 14 things in the chat. Angela, you might want to jump in the chat. Because I think somebody wanted to get on your list. Okay. Oh, and somebody is coming in the back door right now. Okay, that was the staging slide. And now I don't have a slide, I guess. There it is. Okay. The Cascadia Northwest Real Estate Facebook page, not our think tank group, but this is actually the brokerage Facebook page. If you haven't liked it, go and like it. This is a screenshot. This is where Carly puts all of the social media stuff that she's posting on behalf of the brokerage. Like this, every space should inspire you to live your best life was like something that went out this week. Please use this stuff. You don't have to just share it from the brokerage page. You are welcome to download the photo, share it as your own, put your own caption on it. And if you want it customized, and you can ask Carly to throw your name on it or your photo or whatever. So any of the stuff that's in there, again, you don't have to just share it from the brokerage page. You are welcome to use it, social media assets as your own. Jump in and grab what you want. That's all that I had. Now we need to get the Tabitha update for our ALS walk.
So yes, that's what she asked me to pop in really fast though, before I jump in and do that. I don't know if all of you, just in regards to like social media and some of the different tools that we have out there, if you guys have not updated them to say that you are at this brokerage now, it would be a good idea to do so. Every once in a while, I'll come across, you know, some random thing I had signed up for 2 years or 3 years prior, and it still says my old brokerage, and I do not want my name attached to that brokerage in any way, shape, or form. So just everybody, when you are doing things and you're on the computer, just double check like your LinkedIn or homes.com or realtor or whatever any of those things are. Just make sure that your stuff is updated to here. Just, you know, and your voicemail and things like that. Random things that we don't necessarily always think of. Good idea to update. So our ALS walk that we're doing is May 22nd. And we have, I believe it's in the think tank and also on our Facebook page, also on Tabitha's page, and I believe it's also on my page, is our link to the fundraiser so that you can share it for social media, but it's also a spot to link for people to donate. We will be doing t-shirts. Tabitha and I will get those picked out and send out a size order form for people that are participating to wear during the walk, and or just if you want to get a shirt, even if you can't do the walk, but you're fundraising for us, that would be awesome. It's going to say Karen's Angels on the back. Going to have the ALS, the Walk for ALS logo on the front, and then on the sleeves we'll have like our name and Cascadia Northwest or something like that, maybe our last name. I don't know exactly what we're going to do on the sleeve. But so we'll have t-shirts. We will coordinate probably a week and a half before the walk to pick our meeting time of where we're all going to meet and go to the walk together and hopefully walk as a group. So, and if those of you that May 22nd, and that is the ALS Vancouver walk. There is a Portland walk. We are not signed up to do the Portland walk as a team. If anybody wants to do it, by all means. And as you know, that we're doing this in honor of Cameron's mom, and also our Karen Howard that's part of our brokerage. She has a different form, but we definitely want to make sure that we're including her in that process as well. So this has kind of been our last few months and in through May, Good in the Hood fundraiser. So
If you've got a closing coming up and you want to just say, hey, take 25 bucks out of my closing and throw it at the ALS walk, just put it on your broker demand. There's a blank line for that on your broker demand. There's a Council for the Homeless line, and you can always insert whatever nonprofit you choose to support there. So I firmly believe most people want to give and want to give back to the community. And sometimes we get bogged down in the minutia of how and where and who and when and how do I contribute to that. So your broker demand has made it very easy. You tell me who you want a check to go to and it'll go. Easy
Yep.
peasy.
So that's our walk for ALS. Anybody have any questions about it? Okay. Secondly, Tabitha and Shanna and I have planned another small open house at our office, May 6th. It's a get to know CNW sort of a gathering. And so anybody that you think may want to join our firm, a outside resource that we potentially might use within our firm, bring
Invite
them.
your favorite lender, invite your favorite title person, invite your bestie agent from another brokerage. Anybody that you want to, that would be it's a networking opportunity and a way for us to meet new agents, especially agents that are currently looking for a brokerage. I'll just segue into my little announcement. I don't know if most of you are aware of this, but apparently Realty One Group Cascadia will be closing their doors on April 30th, and they will now be NIPE. It's being couched and presented as a merger. So yeah, I 100% live my life without wishing ill on people, except for them. Can't hide it. I can't pretend that I'm not thrilled that karma has decided to circle back in a nice, quick fashion on them. So yeah, they will no longer hold the franchise for Clark County, and yeah, their big, beautiful new office will be NIPE. So,
Who will their manager be then?
well, that part is just all I have on that is pure gossip. I mean, I
That'd be
know for a
interesting to
fact
see.
now, Jeff Knipe has been in their office 3 times throwing pep rallies to get people on board with not leaving and coming to NIPE. But rumor has it Patty Green will be the designated broker, because Melissa, the DB of NIPE, has moved to Bend. So that's the word on the street. That part is speculation, but the closing of the doors, hopefully on April 30th. That is their word, was hopefully they can have it wrapped up by April 30th. So if you still got any pals at ROG, they're going to be needing to make a switch, whether they like it or not. And, you know, I've talked to about 6 people since this news came out. So
We're trying.
yay, karma. That's all I got. Does anybody have any haves or wants? We've still got, 5 minutes before we hit our hour mark. I've got a listing coming up in Portland. Becky is helping me with that, Becky and Adam. It's turned out to be a long game as opposed to a quick listing, because there was a leaky oil tank that leaked so much oil into the soil that the foundation has to be reinforced in order to dig out all of the bad soil. So it's a long process, but it's a darling house. I mean, it's a hot mess, but it's going to be a darling house when this is all done. So if anybody's looking in the it's kind of outer northeast, I guess, would be my best description of it. We've got that coming up. I was going to say Debbie Russell has a great battleground listing that just went live, but it went pending before you could even get in to see it. anybody else have anything coming or going that they need help with or, yep. Andrew?
There's a new listing that just went live this morning, a couple hours ago. It's in my cul-de-sac, so it's walking distance to Philida Elementary School. So anybody who wants people in Philida School District where they can be walking to school, it just went live this morning, 785,000.
And it's a Fred Sanchez listing was,
It's a Redfin.
I have 2 listings, one that will be coming mid-May over in the Lincoln neighborhood, little 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, full backyard, completely, totally fenced, privacy hedge, beautiful, sweet little house. And then I also will have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house over by the new elementary school that's being built by Geyser. And that will be sometime end of May, early June. And then Jackie has a listing that will be coming sometime in the next week or 2 over behind, it's on 88. If you go behind the Home Depot by the Costco, right there at 205 in Patton. So you kind of go up behind the Starbucks and the Home Depot and down 88 a little bit. And it's a really sweet 1-level, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. Nice backyard, really solid house, new roof, new, like almost new everything, even though it's a house built in the 70s, I think. So I'll watch for all 3 of those and we'll give you a heads up before we go live.
Can I ask you a question, Betsy?
Mhm.
You're listing in the Lincoln area, which, is it on the north or south side of 39th?
It is on the north side. It is, I can give you the address. It's 7111 Northwest Dale. So she's just doing a few, she's a CPA.
Mhm.
And so I promised her I wouldn't bug her till after this week. So she's just doing some cleanup inside and getting rid of, her grown kids have moved out and gone, and she's going to relocate and go to Spokane. So she's just cleaning out some stuff. We don't even need to have it staged, or just she's polishing the original hardwood floors, and she does have an oil tank to decommission. She's already had the quote and she's going to start that in like a week or 2. They'll come and do it. Sweet little house.
All right, and Jen has got one to tell us about, and she's gonna come squeeze in on me.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. So I have a listing going live on Tuesday in Fairway Village. It's Cascade Park area, 55 plus community, has golf course and a pool. Listing at 660. It's 2,100 square feet. It only shares a line with on one side, the other side, so it's a corner lot basically. Has greenway next to it as well. So walking distance.
What street is that one on? Was that street?
That's on 154th.
Okay, so not close to Spyglass or
Yep.
Bayview.
I think it is close, but basically the trail to the golf course is right there. You just
Okay.
walk across the street and hit the pathway. So
Awesome. Those go fast too. People want into Fairway Village. So if anybody's
it's a nice
got
community.
a client looking for that, you might want to get the inside scoop. All right, anybody else have anything? All right, well, we have maintained our record of never going over an hour, so yay. And I will chat with everybody soon.
Okay, bye.